Hello, good people of YouTube. Sealord here, and today we are going over an updated top 5 best credit grinding premium ships list. But before we get to that part of the video, I want to talk about yesterday's video and a big mistake that I made in putting that video together. If you don't care about any of that, you can skip ahead. You can check the timeline down below. The chapters will be set up. You can skip right to the start of the top 5 list. And if you want to do that, feel free to do so. I'll catch you there. But anyway, so yesterday's video, the subject of yesterday's video was West Virginia 44. And that video was one of those forgotten premium ships videos that I do every now and then, where I take a look back at a premium ship that was either hyped before its release to no end, or was pretty popular initially, and then, you know, you don't really see them in game anymore because of either the gimmick they were designed around was power crapped, or the ship turned out to be a terrible ship. And that was the subject of yesterday's video with West Virginia 44. However, I failed to do the research and realize that the West Virginia 44, while she was sold outright initially during the Independence Day events, after the end of the event, you could no longer purchase the West Virginia 44 in any way, shape, or form. So players can't buy the West Virginia 44, and that's a pretty big reason as to why you don't see too many of them in game. Now, why I didn't check that? Well,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
I think the biggest thing is that I vividly remember buying the ship in the shop, and normally when these ships come out that are, you know, going to be released at a later date, as Board Gaming puts it, they aren't sold outright. Like the Jaeger and the Brisbane, you got to go through an event or pay your way through an event in order to acquire them, and then, you know, they'll be sold at a later time, right? So when the West Virginia 44 was just outright sold, I think that kind of just tripped up my memory. I should have checked either way. It's not an excuse. I'm just saying that's what happened. That, and if you watched last Friday's live stream, I moved. I have internet that works now, right? So I've been moving over this Thanksgiving break, so brain's a little bit mushy. Again, not an excuse. That's just what happened. But anyway, that's a goof up. That's on me. I was rightfully corrected in the comments. I still do believe that the issues I talked about in the video about how, again, you know, upper tier isn't really conducive to brawling, let alone in a 20-knot, you know, brawling secondary battleship. I still do believe those are, you know, valid points as to why not only the West Virginia 44, but other brawling battleships aren't as popular at higher tier anymore. But either way, that's what happened. It's a mistake. It's on me. I shall endeavor to do better in the future. On to today's video. So, today's video, we are going over an updated list of top 5 premium ships that are excellent at grinding credits. Now, to clarify as well, this video is only including ships that are currently available in this current state, meaning that we are not going to be including the Kobayashi Roma or the Kobayashi Key or Old School Missouri, because those ships are not obtainable anymore in any way, shape, or form. If you get a Missouri in a Super Container or a Santa Container, it is the new Missouri with a standard Tier 9 Premium Economy, not the old busted economy. So, ships that are only available right now. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started with number 5, and that is the Tier 9 American battleship, the Illinois. The Illinois is the, well, quite interesting battleship. She has, if you look on her decks, 12 Des Moines guns, 12 of those lovely Des Moines 208mm guns in a battleship hull, an Iowa hull to be exact, with a little less HP than an Iowa, but again, 12 Des Moines guns. And Illinois is a ship that all during testing, myself and others were watching her with great curiosity, because it's like, how do you balance a battleship with literal cruiser caliber guns? I'm not talking about, like, you know, the Brandenburg and the Mecklenburg that have, you know, 305mm guns. No. This is a ship that has 208mm guns, right? So how do you make that work? Well, they did with the Illinois. Now, of course, one of the key things about being a credit printer is that you have to be able to do damage. Well, when you give a ship 12 of Des Moines guns, 12 of some of the best cruiser guns in the game, yeah, that's quite a lot of damage output. And the reason she's back here at number 5 is because it's Des Moines guns, right? Des Moines guns are great from about 13-ish kilometers in. After that, it gets a little difficult because the shells are quite floaty. But if you can get that down, which obviously if you've played against Des Moines or any American cruiser or destroyer, those players that have it down, they can get those shells to land almost wherever they need them to at almost any range. So once you get the shells down, it's quite easy to get quite a bit of damage in the Illinois. You have the tankiness of a battleship, the damage output of, 1.5 Des Moines bolted together. So you have just a great potential to do plenty of damage here. And again, it's a Tier 9 premium ship, and the Tier 9 premium economy is the most rewarding in the game. Now, of course, if you do get double up tier to super ship games, that's, almost the ideal situation for credit farming, especially if you have something like Illinois, whose primary munition is HE. She's going to start fires. It doesn't matter if it's a tier 10 ship or a super ship. It can start fires all the same, right? And again, you have Des Moines guns, 12 of them here, with plenty of HE DPM. Now, the other thing about the Des Moines guns, too, is that, it has the American Super Heavy Mark 8 AP shell that makes those 8-inch guns really hit like 10-inch guns, especially from closer ranges. So if you do get in a situation where you do get in the face of an enemy ship, you load up the AP, and you'd be surprised how hard these 8-inch guns do actually bite. Again, and you get 12 of them on a battleship hull. Again, with losing a little bit of HP, but still, it's quite the machine gun once you get down to it. Especially if you have hulls and you pop Confederate on it, then oh boy, man, you are really throwing some shells downrange. So that's number 5. That takes us down to number 4, to the Tier 8 French cruiser, the Bayard. The Bayard is a wonderful cruiser if you're good at throttle juking. Throttle juking is the method where you play with your throttle. You increase speed a little bit, decrease speed a little bit, and you just keep trying to do an unpredictable pattern of acceleration, deceleration, throw it in reverse every now and then. And that will not only make it extremely frustrating for the enemy ships to shoot at you, but it also is going to increase your potential damage, and you do get rewarded for potential damage. Yes, potential damage. Man, my brain has been turned to mush here recently, but yeah, it gets to increase your potential damage, which you are, of course, rewarded for via the economy. Now, of course, since you will be an excellent throttle juker with the Bayard, that means you live longer, and you live longer to do more damage with your guns. And the Bayard is a ship with some pretty comfortable main battery guns. They're not like Soviet ballistics, right? But they're plenty comfortable enough to where once you get the rhythm down of throttle juking, you can get plenty of your shells on target. And the Bayard is a ship that is not only good at random battles credit farming, but if you remember, if you took part in the Tier 8 clan battle season, Bayard was one of the more annoying ships to try and deal with because of the whole throttle juking thing. You get the French speed boost as well to help out with that. Like, you can throttle juke with a Bayard without the engine boost running decently well, but then when you pop that engine boost, you're really just dancing around the shells at that point, like most French cruisers do. But this is, of course, more of a light cruiser because of the 152mm guns rather than the larger caliber cruiser guns that the French cruisers normally come with. So you get that good constant DPM with the Bayard, the engine boost. It even has torpedoes too. She has 7-kilometer torp. So if someone does decide, well, I can't hit them at range, I want to close the distance and try and deal with them like that, you have torpedoes for that. Now, you don't have a smoke screen, but if you can get behind an island or, again, just throttle juke, the ship is really, really survivable and will be absolutely just annoying the hell out of the enemy team, all while netting you a tidy profit thanks to your damage output from your guns and, of course, the likely large stack of potential damage you are going to rack in with the Bayard as well. She doesn't have a heal, but she does get the French armor, which if you've played a French cruiser or shot a French cruiser, you know for some reason you'll shoot them perfectly flat broadside, you'll get a torpedo damage ribbon, and you do like 200 damage, something like that, because of the way the French armor is designed. But obviously, if you do get caught flat broadside and the shells do connect and they do find the right part of your ship, you are going to get smacked back to port, hence why the ship is at number 4. But going down now to number 3, we have, well, technically 2 ships, but really 1 ship. We have the Groningen or the Friesland, the good old tier 9, either Pan-Euro or Dutch destroyer. The Friesland, Groningen, whatever you want to call it, is an absolute machine gun. If you find yourself on the right flank at the right time with this ship, it is so ridiculously easy to just bring in the damage. This destroyer, the Groningen, Friesland, again, whichever one you want to call it, it is just a machine gun. It's fully focused on that. You get 2 turrets with 2 guns per turret, but my god, the reload is absolutely a thing of beauty, as you should be witnessing in the background right around now. And if you are on the flank that the enemy team is trying to push on, it's going to be an absolute pain for them to try and push into you, thanks to your insane reload time. And of course, if you do have the Friesland, you can also slap Jersey Swersey on, and that makes it even better, right? So the ship is, again, pretty much solely focused just to be a machine gun. You get a smoke screen, hydroacoustic search, so you don't eat torpedoes while you're in the smoke, and you go to a cap, you can kind of just jut yourself into it, and, well, you outgun pretty much most other destroyers, especially from close range. So any other destroyers that are trying to get into that cap with you have to deal with you first. And with the reload time of the guns, not many destroyers are going to be willing to pick a fight, even in today's World of Warships, where we have continued to get more and more rapid-firing HE spammy destroyers. But from close range, you're still pretty much king when it comes to that, except for, of course, maybe a Kearsarge or a Rugamo, or, of course, a Marseille or a Kleber. Like Marseille and Bayard, those are mostly from long range anyway. But anyway, when it comes to close range engagements against other destroyers, you're still pretty much top dog in most cases. And since the mechanics behind the economy reward you based upon your damage versus the overall ship HP, meaning that, yes, if you do play the Friesland Groningen close into the cap and you're just murdering DDs, sure, you might only get 40 or 50,000 damage every round, but that's damage done to destroyers, and destroyers have smaller HP. It doesn't matter if you burn down a GK with 105,000 HP or a DD with 15 or 20,000 HP, that's still rewarded the same in the economy. So since this is a good destroyer murderer, can make you quite a bit of profit, and it's also a ship that at least I play near the caps, so I'm still capping as well and getting that reward on top of the reward for murdering DDs. So a really solid gunboat destroyer. It takes a little bit of practice to get used to it. You don't have torpedoes, so you can't really fall back on that. No heal as well, but a very simple destroyer to play and to farm credits in once you acquire it. On the way down now to number 2, we have the Tier 9 American Premium Battleship, the Kearsarge. Can't really have a best credit grinder or best premium ships list in today's World of Warships without Kearsarge. I know, hybrid ship bad, but look, if you're ignoring the fact that it's a hybrid ship and you just want to know a ship that's great for producing a lot of credits or a consistent supply of credits every match, Kearsarge is one of the best. I mean, you have Montana firepower at tier 9, albeit with the 45 caliber guns, not the 50 caliber guns, so your shells are a little bit slower and a little bit harder to aim with that range. But still, 12 16-inch guns at tier 9. That's a lot of firepower right there, and with a longer reload as well. But on top of that, you have the rocket planes. The rocket planes that produce just a nice, consistent income no matter what, because they're planes. They can get across the map in a couple of minutes. You can be doing damage to a battleship at the A cap while you're using your guns on a cruiser at the C cap, because hybrid ship, right? So what that does is create just a constant flow of income with regards to damage, which of course equates to a constant income of credits into your account. So you're able to perform quite consistently with the Kearsarge. The Kearsarge, for me, it's a ship that's super simple to get at least 120,000 damage every game. that's really, really easy to do. Again, when you can, just fly planes to whatever ship you want to set on fire and get some good pins off of with the HE damage from the rocket planes. And I know, again, it is a hybrid ship. It is, a blight on this game's existence, but it's in the game, and if you want credits and you want a constant income of credits, it's one of the best ships in the game for that. Now, of course, you do have the flight deck and the hangar bolted to the top of your ship, so that's a very easy spot for other ships to farm you out at. But besides that, the hull of the ship is actually pretty tough. So if you can kind of bait the enemy team to shooting your hull, or once the hangar deck and flight deck is saturated, it's a pretty tough ship at that point. So if you can kind of hide that from the enemy team somehow, or you can just bait them to shoot your belt, it's a really tough ship, and it's a fast ship too, because it's not a convert like the Issei and the Tone. So it's a decent ship overall. It's not slower, and you can easily get from one side of the map to the other side of the map quite quickly, and you can get spotting damage because, again, plane, right? So you're getting spotting damage, consistent damage from the planes, big alpha strikes from the 12 16-inch guns, all in one ship. So, yeah, if you have a credit problem, Kearsarge is an easy solution to that problem. However, it's not quite the solution as our number one ship, which is the Tier 9 Japanese cruiser, the Azuma. This ship, I think I do one of these about, once a year, or sometimes twice at the beginning and at the end of the year, just depending upon, what ships have come out during the year. But Azuma, I think for the past 4 of them, has always been number one, because it's such an easy ship to do damage in. I mean, you've got the Japanese HE on this ship with the big alpha damage that the Japanese HE has, along with a very good fire chance, and it's on the Tier 9 ship. So you get that wonderful Tier 9 economy. You can get a double up tier to super ship games, to where you get the income boost for doing damage to ships that are of a higher tier than you. So all that stacked on top of this ship with a blue booster thrown in there, it's such an easy ship to get 1,000,000 credits plus a game with just by spamming HE. So yeah, and I know it's an HE spammer. You sit in the back of the map with it and you just burn stuff down all game. It's a very boring ship to play. I'm not trying to hide that. But in terms of just producing credits, it is, in my opinion, the best option, because it is so easy to do. That's my whole point of saying, yes, this is a brain-dead ship. You click number 1, and you just find a battleship or a cruiser, and you keep blasting it with HE, and just doing that will get you a bunch of credits. Now, if you want to turn your brain on and do a bit more, you can obviously make quite a bit more with this ship. Because remember back to what I said about with the damage system in the game. It rewards you based upon the overall damage you've done to the ship's HP pool. So you take the massive HE alpha that these 305mm guns have, and you blast a DD with it. You can easily wipe 2/3 of a DD's HP pool with these guns. With one salvo from an Azuma broadside. Easily do that. So in 2 salvos, you can really murder most Tier 9 and Tier 10 DDs if if they let you shoot them twice in a row, right? And you got a good shot. So with 2 clicks of your mouse, you've gotten a whole ship's worth of damage thrown into your rewards at the end of the game. Now, the AP on the Azuma is also pretty good as well. Most just stick to the HE because it is that easy to do damage with this ship. But if you catch a light cruiser, even some heavy cruisers broadside, and you have AP loaded, she still has 305mm guns. That hurts. I don't care who you are. If you get caught broadside by guns of that caliber, it does hurt. Now, again, with the Azuma, you do get to catch them pretty broadside, but if you do, you blop them, delete a light cruiser. Yeah, she's very good at that. Now, the ship herself is, of course, very fragile. Most of you battleship mains out there should be very, very much aware of this fact. But again, if you play it the brain dead, easy way, you're sitting toward the back of the map, spamming HE, burning stuff down, making credits like that. You can, of course, play a little bit closer if you're more cognizant of your surroundings and aware of who you're giving a broadside to. Obviously, yeah, if you do that, the ship can go pretty far. She does get a heal, but again, when you are in Azuma with the armor layout that this ship does have, sometimes big gun do big damage, right? especially with super ships and stuff nowadays. You know, you eat a Satsuma salvo up your stern, it's not going to be a good day. But hey, you can burn them down pretty easily after that. So guys, that's my updated top 5 credit printing premium ships list. Let me know in the comments down below, what are your 5 credit printing premium ships, and what would you add to this list, what would you remove from this list? Let me know all that good stuff down below. Hope you guys have a wonderful Monday and wonderful rest of your week. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.